Hello, my name is Brandon Salgado,
And my name is Jessica Valladolid.
and we're going to talk about organic farming.
To understand the pros and the cons of organic farming, we now have to establish what it is. A big figure of the 90s that introduced the concept of organic farming was Sir Albert Howard, who was an English botanist who published the Vedic Indian techniques of sustainable farming or just organic farming. He believed that the use of natural fertilizers resulted in better farming systems. So organic farming is a system that includes the use of ecologically based pests and biological fertilizers from plants and animal wastes. Now, this concept was produced as a response to the environmental harm due to the use of synthetic fertilizers or chemical pesticides in traditional farming. Now, organically grown foods are those who follow certain regulations or certain standards. Among those, they do not have to include the use of hormones, any antibiotics, or artificial chemicals, and they have to be free of artificial additives.
Now I'm going to talk about the background of organic farming. So organic farming started since the late 1940s in the United States. Since then, it has been growing at a large scale. However, according to a study, this growth is not evenly distributed. Most of the implementation of organic farming is clustered in the West Coast, specifically in the states of California, um, Washington, and Oregon. Now, throughout the years, there has been implementation of regulations and guidelines to determine whether a product is organic or not. However, in 1990, there was something called the Organic Foods Protection Act, which was done by the Department of Agriculture. This act established a list of prohibited substances and allowed substances to use in organic farming. So if some product or crop was cultivated using a prohibitive substance, then this could not be labeled as organic or 100% organic.
Among the benefits of organic farming, we have that it consumes significantly less energy per unit, about 30% less energy than conventional farming, just because the soil is constantly being improved in microbial activity and organic matter. Whereas in conventional farming, the soil is degraded by the wind or water ocean, which also includes extra expenses for conventional farming. The soil for organic farming has a higher level of humic substances, humic substances that lock away carbon in long-term reserves.
There's also the promotion of genetic biodiversity. This is because when organic farmers plant their crops, they plant them separating the crops by actually they plant a diversity of crops in the same field. For example, some farmers plant squash, beans, and peppers in the same field, and this increases the biodiversity of the system, which is in case the field cultivating field. There's also less water pollution because some farmers do something that is called water recycling, which whatever water they use at home or in the farm, they use it to water their crops. There's also a less use of pesticides and herbicides. However, farmers are allowed to use natural pesticides and herbicides in order for the plants to grow healthy and strong. Now, the disadvantages of organic farming. One of these is the low productivity. So according to a study, the organic farming yields 80% of what the industrial farming actually produces, which can mean that there is some loss of product, which therefore increases the expense of the price of the products. There's also not very good pest management. Some farmers use natural pesticides, but sometimes these don't work. So in fact, they would have to remove the pest by themselves. For example, for weeds, they will have to pull out the weeds from their crops. Now, there's different levels of organic labels. For example, if something is labeled 100% organic, then it has to be a product that has not used any prohibited item. Now, if some item is based on a mixture of ingredients, then these have to go, all of these ingredients have to go through a certification process. And if 95% of these ingredients are organic, then it can include the label of organic. If some item contains 30% or less of non-organic ingredients, then this can be considered with a label of containing organic ingredients. However, if something contains 30% or more of non-organic ingredients, then it cannot contain by any means the label of organic. There's also not enough help for farmers. Farmers don't receive subsidies from the government. Now, there's also a rigorous certification process that has a cost that can also contribute to the rise of the price of organic products.
Among the additional limitations of organic farming, they have limited access to pest control. They have strict rules. So since the organic farmers have to follow a number of regulations, they're limited in terms of what type of herbicides and pesticides and the amount they are able to use. Then organic farmers do not have the same resources to fight pests, and their crops are more exposed in this sense. Also, their product lasts significantly less in comparison to that of conventional farming, so they rot faster. And the farmers must have knowledge of how to grow their crops, treat their soil, grow healthy crops, and even distribute them in order for them to have good productivity and have a good revenue.
Now, these are questions for our viewers. So there are two questions. What are the major characteristics of organic farming? And list at least 2 benefits from using organic farming. So the answer for the first one is farming without the use of synthetic fertilizers or pesticides. And then the benefits from using organic farming is that there's less water pollution, and then there's less pesticides and herbicides. However, there are natural herbicides and pesticides that are allowed to be used. This is our reference page, and thank you very much for watching our presentation.
Thank you.